Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video. We're doing this one the old-fashioned way because I wanted to bring this to you ASAP. DICE have just put out a new blog post, and as you can probably tell by the title of this video, it suggests that we will be getting things in Battlefield 6 such as naval combat, Platoons, which is another highly requested one, and of course the Little Bird. There's also a lot more updates here as to what we're going to be getting on release in terms of playlists. Are they going to be going with open or closed weapons? So without further ado, let's just jump into this. It's going to be quite a long one. There's also like bug changes and weapon balance changes in here. So grab yourselves a drink, sit back, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with everything Battlefield. Battlefield Week is finally upon us. It's a really strange feeling knowing that it's going to come out this Friday, and I'm going to be covering the game a lot, doing guides, keeping you guys up to date with the news as usual. So if you guys want to stay up to date with the game, this is the place to be. And as always, thank you guys so much for the support. So with that said, let's just jump in here, guys. So this blog post is called Community Update, Play Your Way. And this is what they have to say. Hello everyone, in this community update, we will share how we are translating insights from community feedback into changes and improvements for the launch of Battlefield 6 on October the 10th. Okay, what we learned with over 30 Battlefield Labs sessions successfully completed alongside our community and a total of, well, 92.5 almost million hours played during the open beta, BF6 is the most tested and iterated Battlefield game in history, and player agency remains at the heart of it. Battlefield 6 has more ways to play than ever, and through the open beta, we aim to validate at scale that offering multiple playlists in parallel would not compromise the authentic Battlefield experience. Here's a closer look at some of the most important data points we reviewed and our summarized findings for each. Okay, so class pick rates, this is a big one. The map layout was the main deciding factor for class picks. For example, support had a higher pick rate on Siege of Cairo, which is a CQC focused map. On Iberian Offensive, with more long-range distance combat opportunities, we saw an increased pick rate for recon. Comparing between open and closed weapon playlists, we observed mostly identical class pick rates with 1 to 2% difference at most. And so that kind of surprises me. In my mind, that backs up closed weapons, because I think the whole worry was that if you kept the assault rifles locked behind the assault class, that everybody would therefore play assault. But apparently, this 1 to 2% discrepancy doesn't indicate that at all. Okay, kills per hour also remained virtually consistent for both playlist types. Open weapons players scored 0.2 more kills per hour in Conquest and 0.1 in Breakthrough. Match length, duration increased slightly within closed weapons playlists by up to 45 seconds, or about 3.75% difference for both Breakthrough and Conquest. And then for revives, we also observed a slightly higher revive rate for closed weapons at 3% for Breakthrough and 2% for Conquest, which coincides with the slightly longer match duration. Now, I have heard people saying that they felt like when they played closed weapons, people were reviving them slightly more, so I don't know, was that placebo or not? Signature weapon use. More players played with non-signature weapons, so that's everything outside of like the main weapons in the game, shotguns, DMRs, things like that, in open weapon playlists. However, recon players still favored sniper rifles over other weapons, and their pick rate was identical between both playlist types. There was not a single dominant weapon archetype, and we observed a consistent and well-distributed pick rate between them. This balance shows that even with different playlist types, players explored a wide variety of options without one class standing out above the rest. Okay, time in combat. There were no differences of note for time players spent in combat between open and closed weapons playlist types. The actual differences were only fractions of a percentage where, rounded up, the results were identical. Lastly, another key insight from the open beta was that the vast majority of players, after trying both playlist types, chose to stick with open weapons. This reinforces our belief that open weapons is the right path forward for Battlefield 6. At the same time, we recognize that some players prefer the closed weapons experience. To support them, official closed weapons playlists will be available at launch. Additionally, closed weapons mutators will remain part of the Portal toolset, so players can create and share their own custom experiences. Okay, so what they're essentially saying here is that open weapons prevailed in popularity over the closed weapon system. And I suppose that's fair enough. Like, I don't really have a major problem if that's what everybody likes more and they enjoy it more, and it is overall better for the game. I'm perfectly happy to sit here and eat my hat and say, okay, if that's the best thing, then so be it. But I hope they do continue to open closed weapon playlists for those players that like them as well. I do have a sneaky suspicion that maybe if they don't get played often enough, they will slowly sort of start to rotate those out for more popular playlists so they don't dilute things with unpopular playlists, too much. But we'll see how that one pans out. Okay, menu and playlist updates. For launch, we are also making further changes and improvements to playlists and menus as a direct result of some of your feedback. All launch maps will be available across playlists from day one, giving you the freedom to play whichever map you prefer. We tested having multiple modes in a single playlist during the open beta and learned that players favored playlists with combined modes. We will continue to iterate and adjust playlists to deliver the best Battlefield experiences possible. You will have the flexibility to play in both single mode and mixed mode playlists. At launch, Conquest and Breakthrough and Escalation will each have their own dedicated playlists. Alongside these, you will see combined playlists such as Conquest and Escalation and Breakthrough and Rush, so you do not have to stop matchmaking when switching between those experiences. If you want to focus on a more specific mode outside of playlists, you can always find it through custom search and the server browser. Okay, so that's actually quite cool. I do like the diversity of just jumping into a playlist, not knowing what map I'm going to get, but also not knowing exactly what game mode I'm going to get. I think CQC playlists, for example, are pretty enjoyable as well, just to break up the gameplay. Okay, custom search enables you to select which map and or mode combo you prefer, and you will be match-made into a match with these search criteria if available. You will have a higher chance to be match-made into your preference the more you broaden your search. So as we saw in the beta, sometimes that search functionality didn't quite work as well if you wanted, Conquest on this specific map. If you chose more maps or more game modes, it would be a little bit faster. So Portal remains the tool for creating and customizing experiences, while a section in the main menu, which was previously called Portal, like in Battlefield 2042, is now called Community. This is where you will find the server browser, which is now prominently featured to make it easier to find and use. Okay, that's good. Separately, we will launch with Breakthrough, Conquest, and Rush as verified modes within the server browser. This enables us to, for example, feature official hardcore experiences that we know many of you are excited for. So that sounds like they're going to have some of their almost DICE official experiences there in the server browser. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I understand that paragraph, so that's definitely a good sign, I think. At launch, you will also find new custom experiences designed to add even more gameplay variety. This will be your first chance to dive into the new and improved Battlefield Portal toolset, now featuring powerful options like spatial editing. We cannot wait to see the creative ways in which you'll use these tools to build and share your experiences. Alright, next section here is called Launch Playlist Rotations. So they say we've learned a lot from the open beta and we're using your feedback as our foundation for launching Battlefield 6. When the game goes live, you'll find a range of playlist options to jump into, including single mode playlists for favorites like Breakthrough and Conquest, closed weapons experiences, intense close quarters battle playlists, and then action-packed all-out warfare playlists. And I hope this one here is like Conquest and maybe Breakthrough only on the larger maps. So if you're somebody who wasn't that keen on the smaller maps from the beta, then you can jump into these larger maps. That's what that kind of sounds like to me. It screams out big maps. We'll be paying close attention to your feedback, adjusting playlists, and adding new options to make sure things always feel fresh and you can easily find a match that suits your style. Please keep sharing your thoughts. This is just the beginning. Okay, on the horizon now, here we get to the juicy stuff, guys, okay? Prepare your asses for this one. So we're incredibly excited for you to join us on the Battlefield at launch. And this is just the beginning for Battlefield 6, as shortly after launch, we will launch Season 1 on October the 28th. And if you guys want to pause this and read it, feel free. I won't go over all of this because I've already talked about it in a previous video, but it is going to be coming in 3 different sections here on differing dates. So we get a new map here, Blackwell Fields, previously known by the internal name of Badlands. Then we get the Eastwood map set in California. And then finally we get like a remake sort of Empire State called Icelock Empire State, where everything is frozen over. So our seasons will have more content than ever before in a Battlefield game, and we will unpack that with you in more detail during an upcoming moment. There is much more to look forward to beyond our seasons as our team continues reviewing Battlefield Labs data, player feedback, and ideating on completely new ideas for the future, starting with an exciting new Battlefield take on Battle Royale. Separately, requests for naval warfare have not gone unnoticed, nor have the calls for a certain fan favourite little helicopter, Platoons, and more. We appreciate all of your suggestions and want you to know we're listening. With Season 1 and our roadmap ahead, we are excited to continue to build a Battlefield that reflects what players want. We'll continue reading and listening to community channels, and we cannot wait to share more with you, so keep the feedback coming. Also be sure to join the official Discord for more discussion and the latest updates. So that is incredibly promising. These three things here, the Little Bird, naval combat, and platoons, I think have been three of the main things that people have found, like three of the main missing pieces of this Battlefield game. Like, they're doing a great job with BF6, but there still are some things missing from the game, some things that could be better, and those are three that are top on my priority list. So to hear that, like, they haven't said it's definitely coming, but they are saying, like, hey, we hear you. You know, why would they do that, and why would they put it in this blog if they had no plans to implement these things in the future? I've been saying it for months now that I think it's pretty plausible that they add these things in future seasons, and it sounds like that's what's going to be coming. I do think Platoons should have been there on day one, though. I can deal with not having the Little Bird and not having naval warfare on day one, but Platoons are such an integral community building tool of the game that they should have really been there on day one. But what the heck? I'll take whatever I can get. Okay, up next, the following gameplay updates will be included in our launch day patch with over 200 changes focused on bug fixes, balance improvements, and polish for release. Stay tuned for the full launch day update notes closer to launch. Okay, so here we get to the nitty-gritty. These are all of the patch notes. It sounds like not for the actual day one patch, but like one of the patches that's already gone into the game. So all of the changes that have gone in so far, but apparently according to them there's going to be more on launch day as well. Alright, so first of all for the player here, you'll notice that movement feels more responsive with changes made to pacing and with several movement issues addressed to keep gameplay smooth and balanced. Of course, they've kind of nerfed, I should say, the movement a little bit, though we've all heard about that, talked about that, been back and forth on it, so let's leave that conversation over there on the table. Then we've got weapons here. Recoil has been rebalanced on automatic weapons, making long-range gunplay more characteristic, rewarding tap firing and burst control, and then numerous weapon attachments have been fixed so they now display correctly in menus and in-game. Of course, this was one of the major criticisms in the beta, that the guns kind of felt a little bit laser beamy, so it seems like they've addressed that via recoil and some spread and stuff like that, now requiring tap firing to be effective. Okay, onto gadgets. The laser designator has been refined with smoother deploy animations, updated visuals, and several fixes for better feel when used. The MBT Law is now the default engineer launcher with a more accurate trajectory, improved guidance, and clearer sights. The MAS 148 Glaive, I don't even know what that is. Is that the Javelin or something? Is enhanced with more realistic missile path, improved zoom and lock-on, sharper scope visuals, and more reliable vehicle damage. And deploy beacons are now limited to 1 spawn per player, 4 per squad total, helping maintain balance and prevent overuse. Of course, deploy beacons now, guys, are no longer part of the Recon's kit. They've been moved over to the Assault class, so that's probably the reason for that change there. Then we have maps and modes. Rush and breakthrough layouts have been revised for better balance between attackers and defenders. This was sorely in need during the beta. I don't know how many of you played breakthrough, but I'm looking at you, Liberation Peak, attacking side. It was so hard just to get onto that first sector a lot of the time, so good to hear that they have addressed that. Operation Firestorm has been updated with improved vaulting, lightning, and performance. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to say lighting here, not lightning. I don't think we're getting like weather effects. While Siege of Cairo, spawn killing and out of bounds issues have been addressed. So of course here they are referring to the rooftop camping that was a glitch. So UI and HUD elements are clearer with updated overlays, animated pings, new minimap options, and smoother loadout and deploy navigation. Settings and controls have expanded with new options like VO volume sliders, sprint bob reduction, and a camera roll toggle for accessibility, plus refinements across platforms. So camera roll, I'm assuming, is for the jets there. That's a pretty standard option in all Battlefield games, so good to see that in. For audio then, that has been cleaned up so pings are easier to hear, weapons and vehicle sounds sharper, and missing delayed effects won't get in the way of your awareness. Kind of disappointed to hear there's nothing about footstep audio. That was really my only critique, I think, about the beta on the audio side of things, is that whilst it sounded incredible, I couldn't hear people sneaking up on me for shit, man. I don't know about you guys, maybe that was just me, but yeah, I think that needs some work. Netcode improvements reduce desync, make time to death feel fairer, and address cases of invisible damage. And that is the end of that blog post. So nice to see them actually communicating with us and giving us some reasoning. It sounds a little bit like they're sort of trying to back up here their choice to have open weapons. So whether you're on the open weapon camp or the closed weapons camp, I guess we just got to live with it. There will be closed weapon playlists available, like they said, so that is good. How long they will remain in the game is another question entirely. If I know DICE and EA, they will maybe be looking to try to phase those out in the future and just sort of convert us all over. But it's not the biggest deal to me. Closed weapons, open weapons, I'm going to play the game and enjoy it. I don't care that much. Obviously, the naval warfare coming in, you know, the Little Bird platoons, them looking to add and really flesh out the game presumably in future seasons, is a massive W. It's really weird for me to be talking about EA in such a positive light, because normally they've just been so, you know, characteristically out of tune with their Battlefield community, and now they're actually hearing us, listening to us, and working with us. It's just such a weird situation where they keep doing the right thing. And credit where credit's due, you know, hats off to EA. Well done, guys. You are doing a good job with this game. And it seems like it's just going to get better going into the future. It sounds like the seasons not only are they going to have 2 maps or more each time, but they're going to have a much quicker release cadence and have meaningful features like platoons and awesome new vehicles like the Nightbird, and who knows, maybe one day even an attack boat. So as always, guys, let me know what you thought about everything that we discussed here today. Don't forget to leave a like if you found the video informative or enjoyable, or both, all of the above, and subscribe as well to stay up to date with everything Battlefield 6. I will be covering the game extensively on launch and probably putting out a lot of videos this week as well leading up to that. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, and me and Lopa, we will see you in the next video. Cheers.